Assalamu alaikum, dear students of ADP class, second semester. Today I am going to continue my previous lecture that was about the protein. What did we do? We have done what is the protein, introduction of the protein and how is it formed, and basically structure of the protein, that is very important, and the structure of protein, that is with my today's topic, just like that on the screen, classification of the amino acid. Before going to the classification of amino acids, it's very important to understand what are the amino acids. I have already told you about the structure of the protein. In structure of the protein, I have insisted you to learn the formula of basic amino acid. That is very important for you to understand, to learn this formula. I know you didn't know about the chemistry formulas, but try to understand, because your topic is today's topic is totally based on the formulas. So first of all, I'm going to insist to you, try to learn the simplest formula of the amino acid, because the protein is the polymer, a biomolecule that is made up of the amino acids. And amino acids are what? What are the amino acids? I have already drawn the formula of amino acids. Amino acids, here the basic structure, you can see the skeleton, carbon that is present in the center. You know, I have already discussed about that. The amino acids are the organic compounds. These are the chemistry and organic compounds that is formed of how many compounds? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sometimes sulfur. So all these compounds are forming the basic structure of the amino acid. Here on the screen, look at on the screen, that is the general formula of amino acid. How the amino acid is formed? It has the four sides. Which carries these four sides? Carbon is in the center and it occupied the four sides. One of the side is occupied by the hydrogen. Other side that makes prominent is the R, and the one side is NH2. That side NH2 is called as amino group. COOH group is called as the carboxyl group, and one side is hydrogen and other is the R. R is very important. I have told you that amino acids may have the same structural formula of amino carboxyl group, but the R may be different, which differentiate one amino acid from the other amino acids. Now, classification of the amino acids. In many books, if you have to take one book, there are one type of the classification of amino acids. In other book, there are another type of the amino acids. So don't be confused. There are amino acids are classified on the different basis. So in your subject, the topic is the classification of amino acids. You have to prepare this topic according to one by one a structure of the amino acid, you can say, basis of the amino acid, you can say. So amino acid is basically classified in so many types on different bases. So one of the for example, look at the screen, classification of amino acid is based on the R group, structural classification, polarity and the R group, right? Distribution in protein, nutritional requirements, number of the amino acid in carboxyl group. That is very important to understand. Look at next screen. Going further. First of all, I have drawn the formula of simplest amino acids. That is what? One side is occupied with amino. Other side is occupied with carboxyl group. One side is occupied with hydrogen, and the next, that is very important, is the R group. If R is the alkyl or aryl group in the organic chemistry, so R if you are using the R basic structure, that will be the CH3, that is called in organic chemistry alkyl group. So if you have a simplest amino acid, it has the change of R, not change of R, simplest R, that is called as the methyl group, and example of is glycine, valine, and this simple amino acid structure is based on the R group. Second, if there is present hydroxyl group in one of the side, hydroxyl group is another functional group. One thing that is very important, I am going to tell you, in the chemistry there are so many functional groups. We are able to sort out these functional groups, but you people I think don't understand these formulas, but these are the important for you to learn. So try to recall and try to understand if one side of the carbon, keep in your mind, I'm going to tell you in a very simplest way, and you have to keep this formula in the mind. That's why I'm going to insist you to learn this formula, because this formula is based for you, and to keep this formula in your mind you have to take further study, right, to clear your topic. So one of the side of the carbon amino, other side is COOH group, and I am revolving, you can say, most of the students have issues of cramming these formulas, I know, but I am going to take out the simplest formula and revolving around this formula. One of the side of the carbon is NH2, that is the same, COOH is the same, hydrogen is the same. Now I am going to focus on the R that may change that classified your amino acids. So if the R is simplest, that is called the simple amino acid. If there is a hydroxy is called as the OH, that is the another kind of amino acid. So you can say this is the hydroxy. Sulfur is another functional group. If one of the side of the carbon is occupied by the sulfur, so the simplest R based amino acid called the sulfur containing amino acid. If R is replaced not by the alkyl group, but it is replaced with the aryl group. Aryl group is called as the benzene ring, that is also present in the organic chemistry, and it's called the aromatic amino acid, heterocyclic amino acid. These are all functional group. If one of the carbon is occupied with any functional group, we are saying this is the simplest amino acid with the different R group, right? This is the one classification of amino acid based on the R structure. Next, polarity. Amino acid with the non-polar R group and the polar R group. I'm going to tell you very simple. If the some group or a compound have an affinity towards the water, we are called as polarity. If it has no affinity towards the water, it is called as the non-polar. This is the simplest definition I'm going to tell. Hydrophilic or hydrophobic. If it has an attraction or an affinity for the water, it is called the polar group. If it has no attraction towards the water, it is called the non-polar group. If one of the amino acid with non-polar R group which has no affinity for the water, we are calling it amino acid with the non-polar R group. If amino acid is polar, these amino acids are the polar. How they are polar? If the R group has a polarity, means it has the attraction or affinity towards the water, it is called the amino acids with the polar. Now it's one of the classification is based on the R structure. You can say different functional groups are arranged on the carbon, then they are called the simplest amino acids based on the R group. If there is a polar or non-polar group is present around the carbon, R group is present around the carbon, that is based on the polarity of the R group. If you have to, if the amino acid is based on the nutritional requirement, there are two types. That is very important. Essential amino acids and the non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are what? Cannot be made by the body. cannot be synthesized by our body. As a result, they must come from our food. These essential amino acids, histidine, leucine, lysine, these are all come from our food. We are going to take it, these essential amino acids, we are going to take it from our, and the non-essential amino acids are what? An amino acids, they can be made by the humans and is essential for the human diet. Non-essential amino acids, alanine, and now on the basis of 4 I have drawn. One of the classification is based on the structure of R or so many functional group. Other classification is based on the polarity and non-polarity of the R group. Other one on the nutritional requirement, that is essential and non-essential amino acid. And the last one on the basis of the number of amino acid and carboxylic acid. A formula which has only one amine group NH2, one COOH group, one R group and one hydrogen group. If they have more than NH2 group, more than COOH group, then this classification is called as the on the basis of the number of amino and carboxylic group. Monoamino monocarboxylic acid, this formula is the same. Look at the screen which I have drawn before starting this lecture. Very simple. One NH2 group, one COOH group, one hydrogen, one R, that is called as the mono. Mono means single one. Monoamino monocarboxyl amino acids. If there is present more than one amino group and present more than one amino group or more than two and more than one COOH group, that is not called as the mono, that is called as the diamino dicarboxylic acid. Sometimes NH2 is the one, just like look at the screen, there is just one NH2 group, one side of the carbon is occupied by the hydrogen, but other two sides, both of the side R is also replaced with the COOH. The kind is different, so then it is called as the what? It is called the monoamino dicarboxylic amino acid. So this is all about the classification of amino acids. I am going to tell you again one that is very important. You have to write down the formula, basic formula, which in my all the last previous lecture I was focusing. I think I was focusing just one formula you have to learn, and then all the protein structures and chemistry is revolving around this basic formula. I hope inshallah you will get it. After the vacation I will try my best inshallah to draw the structures and to explain this topic in a simplest way on the classroom study. I hope so. If you have any problem, you will discuss with me on WhatsApp group. I will try my best inshallah. Thank you so much, my dears.